Greetings and welcome. It's Russell Paul Arthur from Grace Sovereignty Academy. And today in this video presentation, I get clear about why voting for a political party will not improve things, will not improve your country, will not improve your quality of life, will not secure a better future for those you love and serve, and what you can do to actually create the lasting positive change that you want to see in your life and your community and in this world. And listen, we are not here to point fingers, cast blame, moan, groan, or shrug our shoulders. We are here to look at the problem, offer the solutions, and implement the change. And at the end of this presentation, you will be more wiser on what you can start doing to create the change that you want to see. And we begin with asking this question. Why does voting for a political party not improve things? To answer this question, we must first look at the government. Here is what you need to know about the government. Now, most people mistakenly believe the government is here to serve the best interests of the people. Most people have this fairy tale notion that government is formed by the people, is of the people, and for the people. But this just isn't the case. The government is formed to serve the best interests of those who rule over the country. And who are the rulers? In the United Kingdom, the country is ruled over by a crown empire. This crown empire dates right back to the Roman invasions. This crown empire has various monarchies across Europe, Asia, Americas, Africa, and beyond. This crown empire is a coalition between royalty and religion. And this crown empire was a hostile force that conquered the British Isles many centuries ago for one simple reason: to capture, control, and extort the land, people, and resources. This crown empire rules over the United Kingdom today. And if you want to learn more about this crown empire, inside our Sovereignty Academy, we have an entire masterclass devoted to the history and facts of the crown empire that rules over you and your country. But for now, all you have to do is open your eyes and you will see that this crown empire is established and institutionalized throughout the entire country as a ruling and controlling force. And it is the very reason why voting for a political party will not improve things. Here are a few obvious clues of where to look in order to see the crown. Clue number one: there is a British monarch who is the head of state, who is a ruler of the crown empire. This British monarch has the absolute authority as supreme leader over all the subjects of the crown. That includes you. You are a subject of the crown. Clue number two: there are the crown courts and law enforcement. These are crown agencies with crown agents who work for the crown, who control the people and resolve matters with law and force within the public domain. Clue number three: there is the Revenue and Customs, also known as His Majesty's Revenue and Customs. This is another crown agency that was established to collect tax for His Majesty's Treasury, collect tax for the monarchy, collect tax for the crown empire. Clue number four: there are large nationwide corporations that have been established by royal charter, such as Chartered Surveyors, Chartered Accountants, Chartered Bankers Institute. These are crown-controlled industries where the crown imposes its top-down control with rules and regulations. If you truly open your eyes and look past your national identity, you will see that this crown empire dominates and controls the socio-economics of this country, and it has done so for many centuries. Just study history and you will come to know this dominance and control was brought into this country and imposed upon our ancestors through invasion and force. The crown, dominance and control was not established by the democratic will of the people, was not voted for by your ancestors. It was forced upon the people through military invasion and occupation many centuries ago. And that brings us to the government. In the United Kingdom, there is a government known as His Majesty's government. And that is because the United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy. A monarchy is a sovereign body politic, which is a form of governance, in which a single person, the monarch, be it a king, queen, or emperor, is positioned as the head of state. As the head of state, the monarch has absolute authority over the state and over the citizens of the state. Now, the monarch does not run the government, but instead the monarch rules over the government. The government is administrated by a prime minister and a cabinet. The government is operated by whatever political party happens to be in power. However, the Prime Minister and Cabinet must be formally appointed into position and power by the ruling monarch. The ruling monarch grants permission for the Prime Minister and Cabinet to form and function as government. That is because the government is the administrative arm of the Crown. The government is an extension of the Crown. If you look into this for yourself, you will come to know that all the politicians in Parliament, no matter what political party they have formed or they are from, all these political parties, they must swear oath and allegiance to the Crown. All members of Parliament, all MPs, regardless of their political party, must give allegiance to the Crown, must gain approval from the reigning monarch. Each politician is required to do this under a piece of Crown legislation known as the Parliamentary Oaths Act 1866 and all subsequent laws. Until a politician swears allegiance to the Crown, they cannot take their seat in Parliament, they cannot participate in debates or votes in the House of Commons. So what does this all mean? It means all political parties are a part of one single monarch, as a part of one single body politic that rules over all the political parties. It means all political parties must serve the interests of the Crown. It means all political parties work for the same boss. Politics has been structured in a format of top-down control. The whole thing is similar to football. You have the Championship League that rules over all the football teams and rules over all the footballers who play in the Championship League, where all the different football teams, they are competing to be at the top of the league. Yet it is the Champions League that has established the rules and regulations of the game, where the football teams and footballers must conform with the top-down orders of the Champions League. Just like all the political parties that compete to get into power, they must conform with the top-down orders of the Crown Empire that runs the entire show. This means you, as a registered voter, are being played for a fool. With politics, you are watching a puppet show. You have the monarch or crown, otherwise known as the deep state, that is the real power behind the scenes, that is the real power above, that is pulling the strings of the political puppets that dance in front of you. No matter who your favourite puppet is, the puppet you like the most is being controlled by the puppet master, the Crown. The Crown is in control of both sides, left and right. And that is why, when you open your eyes, you will see in Parliament we have the opposition to the government, known as His Majesty's Loyal Opposition, where the Crown controls the government and even controls the opposition. Because when you control both sides of the game, you always dominate You always control, you always win. The whole thing is a theatrical production where you are being fooled into believing that you have a side, that you have a choice, that you can change the government when you do not. You have the illusion of choice. You have the illusion of change. Because in politics, you only get to choose between two sides of the same coin. You only get to choose from two wings of the same bird. Because all political parties must conform to the dictates of the crown, must swear oath and allegiance to the crown that rules over the government. In fact, let's be real here. You only get to choose who will govern you, but you do not get to choose how you will be governed. All the political parties, leaders and advocates, it doesn't matter whether they are Conservative, Labour, Liberal, Democrat, SNP, Reform or Advance UK, it does not matter what banner they march under or what slogan they use. If they get into power, they work for the crown, they work for the establishment. They don't work for you. Now, these political parties, they may promise you big change. They may promise you that they will end the establishment. They may promise a revolution. They may promise things will get better. But once that political party gets into power, they must conform with the dictates and agenda of the established crown. They must become crown agents. They become a part of the crown establishment. This means all the politicians and all the political advocates that you see on TV or social media who tell you they will shake things up and bring about massive change, they are either ignorant, stupid, or lying to you. When the political party that you voted for gets into power, yet they do not follow through on their political promises, yet they do the opposite of what they promised, that is because they must conform to the dictates and agenda of the crown and put the crown's interests before you. So let's just reconfirm. There is a crown empire that rules over the land, people and resources. There is a British crown monarch who is the head of state, and the monarch represents the crown empire. The government is a part of the crown empire. The government serves the interests of the crown. The government is formed to administrate the Crown Commonwealth. The Crown Commonwealth is the land, people and resources. This means when you notice that the government is enacting legislations and policies that go against the will of the people, there seem to be draconian measures that asserts more control, that infringes upon and removes your rights, that increases the taxes, you will know that the government is enacting these legislations and policies in alignment with the best interests of the Crown. The Crown Empire has been established in this country for many centuries. The Crown Empire has created a socio-economical structure with hundreds of thousands of rules and regulations that controls every aspect of our lives as citizens of the state. And these hundreds of thousands of rules and regulations, they don't just disappear when a political party comes into power. They remain in full force and control. When a political party comes into power, all the tax codes are not going to just disappear. In fact, they are going to increase, like they always do, to pay for the ambitions of the next political party. The main ambition is the same for every political party. The main political ambition is economic growth and development. Economic growth and development is all about stimulating the economy, stimulating labour and production, stimulating financial transactions. In other words, the ambition is to increase economic activity. And to increase economic activity, the government must print more money to create public funds, which leads to more national debt, which devalues the currency, inflates the prices, and raises the cost of living. And as a consequence, makes your life as a voter more of a financial struggle. And if we dive a little deeper, we will come to know that stimulating economic activity is more about economic extortion. Because when you increase economic activity, you increase transactions, you increase prices and taxes, and this creates more revenue for the Crown. The Crown and its government is all about economic growth and development, of creating new legislative bills to create economic stimulus. This also maintains and increases the wealth and power of the Crown and its government. This also imposes more rules and regulations on the populace, more and more top-down dominance and control over the citizens, which equals less freedoms and rights. And yet there you are, thinking your political party is coming to save the day, thinking your political party is going to overturn or override the establishment, when in fact your political party is a Crown agency. Your political leader is a Crown agent that works for the Crown. And I'm here to let you know that the whole thing is a farce. These political puppets are powerless without the directing hand of the Crown. The only power these political puppets have in which to assert real change is to propose, debate and vote over legislated bills. Legislated bills are what creates new laws, rules and regulations and public funds. However, these are Crown legislations, statutes and acts because the legislated bills must be approved and passed by the Crown. A legislated bill must receive royal assent before the legislated bill becomes a law. If you do your own research, and you will find there is a formal legal procedure for granting royal assent to a legislated bill. Here is the procedure. A legislative bill must be voted for and approved in the House of Commons and the House of Lords. Then it must be presented for royal assent, where a person known as a clerk of the Crown then checks and prepares the bill before it is sent to the monarch for approval as the supreme leader of the state, where a royal commission that is appointed by the monarch will announce royal assent on the King's behalf. Once royal assent is granted, the bill becomes an Act of Parliament and then a part of UK law. If a legislative bill does not get royal assent, it cannot become law. It simply fails. Even when both houses of Parliament, even when a majority of politicians have voted for and passed the bill without royal assent, the bill remains just a proposal. So to reconfirm, if any real change is going to happen in your country, it requires a legislated bill. And that bill is drafted by civil servants and politicians who are all Crown agents that swear allegiance to the Crown. That bill must be approved by the Crown and can be vetoed by the Crown. What I have just described is not a democratic process. It's not a process carried out by the democratic will of the people. There is no democracy in a structure of top-down control. In this country, there is a Crown empire that overrules and controls the government and politicians regardless of who is in power. And that is why voting for a political party will not change things, will not improve things. And listen, in this short video presentation, I'm only just scratching the surface. I'm revealing to you just a snippet of a grand deception that stems from politricks. Not politics, but politricks. Because you as a voter are being tricked into believing the theatrical puppet show is real, when it is not. You are being tricked into giving your power away to a bunch of unconscious deceivers. You are being tricked into maintaining the wealth and power of the established status quo. The political game is rigged, and all the politicians, they are blowing smoke up your arse whilst they are wearing straight jackets. These people are telling you what you need to hear, yet they are politically restrained and impotent. They cannot follow through on their empty words. If you are expecting huge, radical change to happen as a result of politics, where you mistakenly think you live in a democracy, where you mistakenly think your vote counts and your vote makes a difference, then your expectations will fall far short of reality. Whoever you vote for, whatever political party that you want in power, you are not voting for a change. You are voting for the same crown empire that rules over everything and everyone. A crown empire that owns and controls the government. A crown empire that wants to maintain its absolute dominance and power over the land, people and resources. A crown empire that wants to introduce more and more laws to control and extort your life and punish you if you do not comply. Therefore, voting for a political party will not improve things, will not create the change that we all need to see happen. In fact, things will only get worse as the Crown and its government grows in power and wealth and imposes more and more methods of control and extortion, and continues to ignore the major social issues that are eroding the very fabric of society. It's grim, but true. So what is the solution? How do we actually get the change, the real lasting change that we want to see in our own life, our community, and the world at large? For that, my friend, you need to look in the mirror, because you are the change you need to see. You are the change we all need. You are the one with the real power to make a real difference in this world. And you do not need a political party or a government to express your powers to assert change. You were born into this world at this time as someone with specific talents. Talents that perhaps are yet to be realized and developed. Talents that perhaps are being wasted in the wrong place. And with your natural talents, you can step forward and emerge as a solution to bring about positive change. Because the solution is not out there. The solution is definitely not in the hands of a political party. You must by now realize that politics is not working. That politics is the reason why we are all in this mess. So why continue to waste your precious time on a fruitless pursuit, where you are always let down, where you stand to gain nothing? Why not redirect your attention and focus? Why not channel your creative energy towards creating a positive solution that you need in your life, that your family and community needs, where you create real solutions that offers real value and real change? I think it's time for you to become and do the change you need to be and see. And I believe that I can assist you by guiding and supporting you on how to create a life of personal sovereignty. Personal sovereignty is where you have decided enough is enough. You are done with the ignorant, foolish and lying politicians. You no longer want to participate in the puppet show. You are saying, no thanks, I'm done, and you start walking away. Personal sovereignty is where you become free and independent from the Crown, nation state and its government. And this does not mean that you oppose or challenge the Crown or its government. This does not mean that you are anti-establishment. This does not mean that you are an expatriate, and this does not mean that you lose your national identity or heritage. It just means that you no longer want to participate in a rigged and corrupt system that has deceived you. It means that you want to take control of the matters and direction of your own life, where you are choosing to withdraw your consent and energy from a situation that does not work, because you want different and better results. Becoming sovereign is to take matters into your own hands to create the results you want. And this is only possible once you have removed yourself from the legal bondage to the Crown, state and its government. When you no longer participate as a citizen, once you have corrected your status in this world. And this is a lawful procedure and practice that we teach within Grace Sovereignty Academy. So if this message resonates, if you have awoken to the deception of politics, if you have lost all faith in the status quo, if you're looking for a new and better way so that you can become a positive force of change, then perhaps we could assist you at Grace Sovereignty Academy. Perhaps we can give you the knowledge and tools you need. So I invite you to reach out to me. It would be a pleasure to speak with you. In the meantime, I trust you are well.